Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. Now, the last video I did was about Shona Robertson writing to Jeremy Hunt, begging him not to raise taxes. And I thought, well, while we're on the subject of Jeremy Hunt, there is another one here which does affect everybody, including people in Scotland. It's a national issue, and it's to do with pensions. Now, I know this will ring a bell with a large number of my viewers, simply because I know the ages of most of my viewers. And we're all either pensionable or soon to be. And so it is something I think of interest to all of us, and even to those younger viewers. This will matter to you eventually, because you will eventually have your state pension, and so a good raise now will help in years to come. You don't want it screwed up now, you know. And also, if you are one of those younger ones, do make sure you contribute as much as you can to your personal pension as well. Really makes a difference. Anyway, we'll have a quick look at this because Hunt may blow it, and if he does what he's expected to do, then it will not just be a defeat for the Tories. It will be a rout. It will be a final routing. It could be the worst result I think ever that they've had. Here goes. Now, it should be said that the Tory Party are a party whose membership tends to be slightly older, because they're the ones that have got the most to conserve, if you will. And so if you alienate, the grey vote, and you're the Tory Party, then you're finished. You are absolutely finished. And the triple lock is key. Now, there was a few years ago at the end of COVID and the restrictions were lifted. They said for 1 year only that they would restrict this to not the highest, which was the earnings, but to inflation, which was slightly more than 2.5%. But the following year, inflation was up at 10% and pension went up by that. This year it should go up 8.5%, but he's now looking that maybe that won't be the case. But there's no reason for it not to, in order to keep that triple lock promise, which was a manifesto promise. And if he does it, I'm afraid the Tories will get annihilated. Well, I'm not afraid. I mean, if that's what they do, then they get what they deserve. But they will be annihilated. And it won't be anyone's fault but this grimacing idiot. There he is. So Jeremy Hunt warned no Tory MP will be in a safe seat if state pension triple lock is denied, because the elderly are the ones who vote for the Tories. You screw with their pensions, you take your very life in your hands. The Chancellor urged not to take the silver vote for granted, as fears grow that he is planning to fiddle with the state pension and put a lower rise in place than the 8.5% that pensioners are owed, according to the triple lock. Jeremy Hunt has been warned he will never be forgiven by OEPs if he fiddles with this. Campaign groups have demanded the pledge be honoured in full, amid fears the Chancellor might be planning a lower payout in Wednesday's autumn statement. Mr Hunt is tipped to make tax cuts in the financial update to get the economy fizzing. But he was told cutting taxes without meeting the 8.5% expected under the lock would cause uproar. Now, the Tories, of course, have got to go to an election, probably October next year. You screw with the pensions, which then come in April, and let me tell you this, you ain't winning that election. I mean, chances are you're not going to win anyway. Chances are you're going to lose. There's going to be a massive majority to Labour. You screw with that pension, and that Labour majority will be 500 seats. There won't be barely a Tory left in Parliament. The Tory Party could even be the third party of Parliament, not of government, but of Parliament. That is how serious this is. He was told cutting taxes without this would cause uproar, as I said. He said one campaigner said ministers underestimate the wrath of older people at their peril. Dennis Reid, director of the pressure group Silver Voices, added there should not be tax cuts while millions of older people still struggle with the cost of living crisis. He said the government may think that they'll get away with a technical downgrading of the triple lock, but we have been ignored, threatened and provoked so many times in the last few years, and that dam of anger is about to burst. Many will judge that the government can't be bothered to safeguard the incomes of older people and is content for pensioner poverty to rise. and rise it will if they don't give the full lock. If you don't give a rise of pension at the rate of inflation, then you're cutting pensions. And for some, it's the only income they have. They starve, they freeze to death. This is what happens. And so it is only right that they go up in line with inflation. But since Britain's already got one of the worst pensions of the developed world anyway, it needs a lot more than just what it's getting. Caroline Abrams, Age UK's charity director, said the government made the triple lock rules and it should stick by them. Anything less than this will be viewed as a betrayal. Wage growth data ought to trigger a guaranteed 8.5% rise in state pension next year. But the Chancellor has looked at stripping out bonuses to cut it to 7.8%, costing pensioners £75 a year, but saving the Treasury some 900 million. But here's the thing, all that, less than £1 billion, but they're willing to spend £100 billion a year on foreign aid for people who've never contributed a penny. How about we cut the foreign aid budget and look after our own? Nearly 280,000 people have backed the Daily Express crusade with silver voices for the triple lock to be honoured in full. An 8.5% increase in the new full state pension would take it from around £204 a week to £221. That's £17 a week. That will help with the shopping bill, surely. A basic pension would rise to around £170 a week under the higher figure, or £168 at 7.8%. So Steve Webb, partner at finance consultants LCP, said it would be deeply cynical to fiddle the figures when the formula comes up with the wrong answer. The whole point is having a rule that you stick with when it is difficult as well as when it is easy. It's not as though the state pension is a king's ransom. The triple lock was put in place to undo 30 years of damage, 30 years of underinflation rises. Someone once worked out if the pension had have risen by inflation since 1979, when Margaret Thatcher came to power, the pension today would be worth something like £1,600 a month. It's worth less than £1,000. That shows the damage that's been caused over the years. Pushing pensioners into poverty for political expediency. Anyway, I shall round off there. I shall come up. But yeah, it's just a short piece, but it just goes to show, if he dicks with the pension, we'll dick with the Tory Party. There is that saying, and I say it so often, fuck around and find out. If he fucks around with the pension, the Tories will certainly find out at the next election. Coming up. Unless it's a full 8.5% rise, as promised, as per the mandate, as per everything they've said, this whole triple lock thing, then come that next election, they will be destroyed. You can't lie to people and then expect them to vote for you. You can't make them a promise and then expect them to believe you and take you at your word. And yet that is what they think they may do. But Hunt may find out very, very quickly what a mistake it was. His seat is certainly not safe, and especially if he is the Chancellor that screwed the pensioners, because every pensioner in his seat will vote elsewhere. It doesn't matter which way. Probably Labour, to be fair. But it doesn't matter. If they're not voting for him, he's out. That is what must be concentrating his mind wonderfully. Because I get the impression he quite likes being an MP. All that money for nothing. Going to a talking shop and earning tons of money and having power and influence. Yeah, all of that will be taken away if he takes away the pension. I'll stop now. Thank you very much for watching. I do know, as I say, that a lot of you, this will matter to a lot of my viewers. So yeah, I do appreciate you taking the time to like this video and certainly make a comment. Anyway, till next time, stay safe, stay well, and I will talk to you later. Bye.